It's always so funny to me when people say like, oh, like I was in Paris and the food was bland, or I was in Italy and the food wasn't great. Yeah, that's because you're going to restaurants that are directed at tourists. That's why. You're going to restaurants that are in the city center, and when you look around, most of the locals don't come to this restaurant. It's mostly tourists, and it's mostly non-black and brown people. So whenever you're on TikTok and they're giving you a list of like, oh, restaurants to visit, you gotta make sure you know exactly who you're taking that advice from. Because if you're a black and brown person, your taste buds, I feel like, are a bit different. So we like food that's a little bit more flavorful, that has a little bit more seasoning. So I don't take the recommendations from non-black and brown tourists when it comes to food, for the most part, right? I'll still try it. I'll still try something if it's highly recommended, and see if it's good or not. But for the most part, I do not take recommendations. And also, the thing I do, like, I just came from France. I did 3 months in Paris this year, from end of April until end of July. And I just never had bland food in Paris. I just never had it, because I'm not just going. And even when I do have like French, even when I do have French food, I look at the kind of people who are leaving reviews and the kinds of people who are recommending this restaurant to me. And also, I'm going to the restaurants that are owned by the cultures and the countries that France colonized. Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of Vietnamese food, West African food. I'm doing Moroccan food. I'm doing North African foods. Those are going to be like a lot more flavorful. I'm doing Tunisian food. Those are going to be a lot more flavorful than like just going to a typical French restaurant. Especially if it's a French restaurant that not a lot of black and brown people are recommending. And some countries you go to, the food is not going to be great. That's just what it is. Once you start going to like Belgium and like north of Europe, the food is not as great. The food is not as great. Like, I've had, even in London, fish and chips. The blandest. I just waste. It was just a waste of my 17 pounds. It was just a waste of like my whatever 20 pounds I paid for it. When you go to when I was in Amsterdam, because I'm someone like, I travel for food, and I'm just like, where's the food? And you don't go there for food. You go there for sweets. Maybe you go there for French fries, and Belgian fries are amazing. Probably the best fries that I've ever had. You're going for waffles, maybe stroop waffles in Amsterdam, maybe like waffles from Liège in Belgium, but you're not going for food, because the food is actually not that great unless you go to restaurants that were occupied or that were colonized by the Dutch. Those are the only time you're going to have like actually good and amazing food. So that is my tip for you. If you are ever in any European country and you don't want bland food, I would just recommend that you go to, what's going on? I would recommend that you go to restaurants that are owned by non-European people, whether it's North African, West African, Asian, Caribbean. Those you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna eat. It's gonna be amazing. The food's gonna be amazing.